Town Council meeting to order on Tuesday, April the 7th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Yvonne, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor Gray Leonard.
Here.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Here.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson.
Here.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson.
Here.
Councilwoman Brandy Peterson. Town Attorney Scott Simpson.
Here.
Town Planner Mark Pratt.
Here.
Deputy Clerk Ryan Smith.
Here.
And the Volusia County Sheriff is present.
Okay. Lenny, would you please do an invocation for us, please?
Gladly, sir.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you with great thanks tonight for this beautiful beneficial rain. I ask that you please protect our citizens and all that may pass through as this event is ongoing. Dear Lord, I ask that you bless this council, bless our employees, bless anyone involved with the inner workings of our great town. Dear Lord, I ask that you please grant us wisdom and knowledge to make the best decision for our town as a whole. And I ask these things in your great name. Amen.
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 Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from a regular meeting on March the 17th, 2026. Has everybody had an opportunity to look over those minutes?
Yes, sir.
Any changes, additions, deletions? I'd entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve the minutes from March 17, 2026.
Motion on the floor by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson to approve our regular meeting minutes from March the 17th, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Brandy Peterson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is item 5 under new business, and it would be 5A. It's resolution 2026-02, updated facility plan. And I'd like to ask Brad Blaze to bring us up to speed on that, please.
You may read the title to the record. The resolution title?
You want to read the resolution before he brings us up to date?
Whichever.
We can do that. Let's go ahead and let our attorney read the resolution, Brad, and then you'll be on board.
Resolution number 2026-02 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Pierson, Florida, accepting and approving the updated sanitary sewer system facility plan prepared by Mead and Hutt, updated in March 2026 as requested by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection in connection with the proposed relocation of the wastewater treatment plant site, authorizing and directing the town clerk to transmit the updated facility plan to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection in furtherance of the town's state revolving fund design loan, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, I'd like Brad to go over this before we decide to make a vote on this. That's okay with the rest of the council?
Yes, fine with me.
All right. Brad, you want to bring us up to date on this?
Sure. I'm going to kind of summarize the letter that Mark put together. He did a very good job of, I think, encapsulating the long and torturous journey that we've taken on getting this whole thing completed. And so I believe that is in your packet, and basically it gives some background on the facility plan, and then it identifies changes that have been made over the course of the development of this plan from the original conception to where we're at now, and then basically where we have finally landed at, and that is the subject of the resolution that's being approved this evening. Now, the resolution has to be approved in order for this facility plan to be adopted and approved by the SRF, State Revolving Fund Loan, Florida Department of Environmental Protection, Bureau of Facility Funding. Once this is approved, you will be eligible at that point in time to submit for low-interest loan funds, and those low-interest loan funds are also eligible for principal forgiveness. So based on the status of your town, you're pretty much entitled to 80% principal forgiveness based on the incomes and the other demographic characteristics of Pierson. And then there's also other grants that are available through water management districts and other things to aid in construction of these projects. So the facility plan is the first step on the journey. The area that was identified in gravity sewers were designed in the Phase 1 area. It includes the core business area. It comes down, I don't have a copy of the figure in front of me, but it was the approved area that was identified for Phase 1. There's a total of 3 phases. In the initial conception of this plan, the town was going to work cooperatively with the school district and basically site a new facility on the same site where the existing wastewater plant is on the school district property. As that moved forward, that fell through. The Volusia County School Board did not want to entertain a public facility on their site. And then Mark Corrett, Zepco and Associates, spent quite a long time, probably well over a year or more, negotiating and trying to identify something that could be a collaborative effort. In order to make this process work, your first customer and your most well-funded customer would need to be Volusia County School Board. So you would basically, they have a very old package plant. It's a steel plant that would basically at some point need to be completely replaced, and they would rather not be in the sewage treatment business. And so that would be the first customer. That would basically take the base operating cost for maintaining and operating your facility. A new facility site was identified across the airport property. So very, very close to being almost directly across from the existing plant that the school operates on property owned by the town. We commissioned environmental assessments that was done by Zepco and Associates. We also commissioned geotechnical studies to evaluate the soils. In order to be a good site, the soils would need to have enough percolation and depth to groundwater table to be able to absorb the effluent for the perk ponds coming out of the treatment plant. That's the primary element. There's also a need to identify if there's any threatened endangered species that might affect the siting of the plant. So that was done. Conceptual design was prepared. That conceptual design was initially what's called a sequencing batch reactor plant. We spoke with your contract operator, CWS. They identified an annual operating cost for that facility much higher than would be tenable for your facility. So we kind of went back to the drawing board and identified a new design, which is more of a ring steel plant where you have the outer concentric rings. The outer ring basically has a biological process, and the inner ring, the settling basins. It's a little more costly at the outset, but fairly similar in price. And the most advantageous part about that is the operating cost. The operating cost fell within the guidelines of what we had initially estimated to be an annual cost to operate a facility of this type. So given the fact that the initial budget, we had already gone pretty far down the road on designing the plant, so it was identified that a progressive design build plan and specification package would be developed so that you would be able to hard bid the collection portion of this project to underground contractors and the like, which would bid that part of the work, and then issue a design build bid documents for the actual plant construction itself. And so that would essentially take our designs, specifications, and all that work, and then a contractor would take that and carry that further down the road with a specific pre-approved vendors. So that, in a nutshell, brings us to where we are today.
I don't have any questions, Brad, about this, Bobby, Jimmy? What's the bottom line total cost going to be for the town on this project?
Just under $6 million.
That's what I'm thinking.
Let me, instead of
Back when we started this system, I'm quite sure wasn't going to be just under $6 million. And
I'm afraid that our citizens of the town, the ones that are, along with the school board, the ones that are just going to be in the core area that they're going to be on this system to start with, I don't know how well they're going to appreciate that when it comes to billing. When just a handful are on it and the remainder of the residents aren't. I just don't know how that's going to go over with the citizens of this community. And I was very thankful that you did realize about the operating costs before things went into motion. I just want the council to remember that we're not Daytona Beach, and we're not Deltona, and we've got a small population, and I just don't. I'm not second guessing. It's coming. We need it, but unless we can get this thing fully funded, I don't know.
Even if we got it fully funded, Bobby, I don't know how we can eat any more operational costs. I just don't know how we can.
Well, I don't know. Well, it's going to be to service the ones that
everything else, health insurance, everything is up. We're having to replace vehicles, just day-to-day operational expenditures. I don't know how we can. I don't think this is feasible at all.
I want to ask Mark to correct something, because I listened to a school board meeting that was probably, I think it was in July of 2024, and I heard the comments from one of the school board members at that meeting, and I believe you were in attendance at that meeting, Mark, if I remember right. And his comments were basically that if the town did get a sewer plant, he would be reluctant in hooking up to it because he wasn't sure that the town with $1 million a year budget could afford to operate that sewer treatment plant. And I think that's kind of the area that the other council members are coming from, and I don't know if we can afford to operate it. And I know that they're needing to build a treatment plant, and I'm not saying they aren't. But do you have a 100% commitment from the school board that they'll hook up to this system if we build it? Do we have that commitment?
We have a memorandum of understanding that they will connect to it. Obviously, it's all good. All this is going to get down to what the projected prices are. Right? The construction costs likely will be covered. There's 80. If you participate in the SRF program, you can get 80%, as Brad has said many times. In addition, there's other monies. So your construction costs, again, past performance doesn't predict, future success, but other communities such as Oak Hill, theirs was 100% paid for. Right? What we're going to get down to, though, is the actual operating costs. We won't obviously know that till some point in the future. You're committed to and required to complete the design and deliver a permitted project, right?
Well, you're committed at this point to basically the planning document that you have that has the plans that have been prepared, the engineered gravity sewer plans, and the package that was prepared for the bidding the sewage treatment plant. You have already paid for that. So you have that. And as Mark said, you are committed to delivering that. Now, nobody can force you to go build and operate something, but you are, you've already bought and paid for a design. And as Mark said, the projects like this generally get funded by grants, and that's similar to this. Now, the operating costs, obviously, that's an additional expense. And I guess the question that needs to be, answered, and, with the pleasure of being up there and making these hard decisions is what is the direction of the state of Florida? What is the direction of septic tanks? And, Scott can probably weigh in, and Mark can certainly weigh in on that, on the ability for future septic tanks. Are all new septic tanks that come in, are they going to need to be advanced treatment systems with aeration? And as we all know, those are about $50,000 per system, and then you have to operate it through infinity. And there's a lot of movement towards, and I know the county has recently adopted some ordinances, and basically in identifying the Basin Management Action Plan and TMDL compliance issues for the septic tank rules. So there are a lot of things that will be coming down the pipe, and it will be up to the town to decide what is your future. All we're here doing today is adopting the resolution, approving the plans, and committing to what you've already committed to. From this point forward, you would not be, committing any additional costs or building anything. But you did commit to doing the plan and submitting this to the FDEP. This is not a funding agreement for future funding. It does not obligate you or commit the state to funding this project. That's a whole separate process.
How close are we to completion of the design phase?
It's done.
It's done.
Yes.
It's done. We're looking at the 100% design phase project has been delivered. We're giving our last comments on it, right now.
I mean, we don't know what the future of the property tax issue that's staring us in the face.
Yeah.
We cannot commit to this.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say about the property tax, if that does get passed, you're going to need to have some more commercial development in the town of Pierson. And commercial development is going to need this system to occur. I mean, I think if they eliminate the property tax on homesteaded property, you're going to need at least a little bit of growth in order to survive as a town. The commercial development's going to need to have this. We've talked to restaurants, we've talked to grocery stores in the past.
Yeah.
They don't want to operate,
Yeah,
they can't operate successfully on septic tanks. So
But they can. Look at the Dunkin'.
some of them can, but it's pretty limited.
Obviously, they have
Yeah.
adequate, right, whatever, without a sewer system.
I've always been optimistic about this from day one. I think it's coming. It's coming for sure. Sewer systems over septic tanks, especially as close as proximity as we are to Lake George and St. Johns River and all these freshwater springs. I was always very optimistic about having the whole thing funded through grants and such and such. The operating cost, is the other thing.
Correct, and I think you guys need to have the same conversation that Ryan and I had. We need to bring in CWS. They're your current vendor for your water plant. They, in my understanding, at least several years ago, I don't know if they currently are, but they were at one time the operator of the school board's plant. And have that conversation with them, because obviously they wouldn't necessarily be guaranteed to be the people who would maintain this wastewater plant. We discussed whether we'd go out to bid for something like that. But I think it would be worthwhile to have them come in. They've at least reviewed this design. They helped drive the decision of this particular type plant. And listen and hear what they have to say. I think it would be valuable for you guys to understand what they say the range of costs would be, and then you can make an informed decision.
Whenever the Oak Hill plant was completed for the city of Oak Hill, and it was done through funding, the majority at least, wasn't that for the entire town of Oak Hill? Or was it just for a small portion of Oak Hill?
You're talking about that
The
special,
city limits, their sewer treatment plant that they just done, did it cover the entire city limits, the one they just had
Well,
completed?
the sewer plant is owned by Volusia counties. So the sewer
Okay.
plant itself is owned and operated, and there's a three-party interlocal agreement that exists between Edgewater, Oak Hill, and Volusia County. And there's service areas, but the actual portion of Oak Hill that is on sewer, the primary project we're discussing is the Indian Harbor Estates project. That was 100% grant funded, and it included about 300 homes that were directly on the river. And there was going to be, zero approval for any maintenance or anything of any of those plants, and they're all going to have to put in advanced systems. And that is the direction things are going in any properties that are within a, protected watershed, and that was the decision. It was a very, very controversial project as well. A lot of the folks that were involved in that did not want to be a part of it, but the town did agree, and they basically took ownership of that in order to get the funding. The interlocal had the town of Oak Hill owning the system, and the county would basically pay the debt service in the form of reimbursements to the town of Oak Hill. But the individual homeowners, they did have a lot of connection fees waived because they got a supplemental legislative appropriation to pay for the connection fees, i.e. impact fees, and they were able to get reimbursed, I think, 80% of their cost to connect, and then they do all have monthly bills. So.
Ryan, do we know how many residential homes we have in the town of Pierson approximately, in the city limits?
580 something, just under 600.
Around, with 580 would be a solid number?
Yeah.
That's one of my concerns about this, Brad, is that this sewer system is only going to service 30 to 35 hookups. It's not.
First phase.
In the first phase, in phase one. We're going to be the two schools, and then there's going to be about 30 to 33 other hookups. And to pay for this, everybody that lives in town is going to have to be billed for it. And I don't know how that's going to fly.
I know it wouldn't fly with me.
I mean, that's my concern. If we were doing the whole town, if everybody was getting this service, and we were going to get it grant funded, I think it would be a lot more palatable. But I have a problem with putting a sewer system in that's only going to take care of a very small part of town, in the center of town, with a few customers that just happen to fall where that line runs. And I know there's a lot of us that don't live. Personally, I only live a block off of Highway 17, not even a block, from where that line is going to start. And according to the current plan, I'm not going to get service. And I'm only going to be a block away from the main line. And I looked at that layout, and I counted the houses based on an aerial photograph, and there's not that many. I mean, we have 3 or 4 city facilities that would be able to hook up to it, and the 2 high schools, and then you're going to be down to a very limited number of residences. We'll have 2 or 3 commercials that can hook up to it. But it's a small percentage of 580 homes.
I would have to get back to you on that total, because when we did the lot surveys, we only put in service laterals to those individual properties that were, had houses. Now, there's a lot of these very small lots that are all combined together, and so I can't tell you the exact number, but I do have on the plans. I can come back to you tomorrow with an actual count of the sewer laterals, but I believe it is more than that. But your point is well taken. This first phase was focused on the commercial areas and focused on basically the school board being the primary customer
Right.
to fund the bulk of the operating costs. Now, how your utility chooses to fund costs for operating, whether it's, a general fund or whether it's all funded by individual connections, that would be the next step. But at this point in time, all you're doing is you're approving the plans, you're approving this document. There was a previous version of this that was approved in order to execute the agreement. However, when we resubmitted this, they came back to us with all these additional requirements. They needed the environmental assessment. There's a whole laundry list of things that they wanted to get before they were going to get the subsequent approval. So there is a version of this facility plan that has been adopted by resolution. That's how you got the initial funding to fund this design. So essentially, this is a new resolution, and it is a new adoption. But at this point in time, you're just meeting the obligation that you agreed to.
It's a new resolution, it's a new adoption, I understand that, but the basic layout of the plan really hasn't changed, has it?
The service area,
Other than moving where the plant's going to be.
the plant itself has changed dramatically.
Correct.
Different type of plant,
That's
different
the main
location.
thing that's
But
changed.
the actual service area was what was agreed to 2+ years ago. But essentially, this does not obligate you to do, if you agree as a community that this is as far as you want to take it, then that's where it goes.
What is our 20% financial responsibility at this point for the
It would be whatever
planning phase?
20% of
The design.
the design, whatever the first.
Yeah.
Are you talking about for the design grant?
Yes.
I would have to go back and look at how much we've actually billed to the grant. I want to say it was like 156,000 or something like that. If we used as much as we said we were borrowing, but the last I checked, I don't think we had billed near that much. Unless there could be, maybe you guys bill like a huge balloon thing at the end that I haven't gotten yet. but-
Have you not closed this loan out yet with the state? In your initial loan documents, there is a estimated payment schedule. So that is in your current agreement.
Correct.
And then, as you stated, it's subject to the final
final
reconciliation.
Right.
And then they basically take that, they take the capitalized interest, and then there's a total principal due. Based on I don't want to speak out of turn, but it is in the paperwork.
If we spent what the actual initial loan amount was for, the repayment is $156,000 over 20 years or whatever it is. But like I said, I don't think, so far, we have not asked for reimbursement for near that amount, so
That sounds about right.
at the end, it should come out less. I think.
My understanding of this resolution, that it's not obligating the town for another penny. What it's doing is only authorizing us, or our clerk, to submit these plan documents to DEP. Is that basically
And
correct?
satisfy the obligation of your
I
loan.
think this is, so that's my understanding. That's all this does.
Yeah, to get the original loan, we had to submit the original plans, but those plans have now changed.
Right.
So they need the updated
All
facility
this
plan.
resolution doing is taking
We can-
the change,
The updated plan.
updated plan.
The failure to adopt this resolution, just kind of reading or hearing what you're saying, could be a violation or breach of their loan grant agreement, because they had obligations underneath that to fulfill based on the money they got.
Correct.
So if they fail to do this, they may be in violation,
It could be a potential
liability there. But by adopting this, this does not obligate the city to go on to build anything.
No, correct.
It's just satisfying this condition.
The next step would be submitting a request for inclusion for construction for one or both of those projects. And if you,
Or evaluate the operating cost.
or, or anything you wanted to do, but essentially, you're, at this point forward, you're meeting your obligation, you're not committed.
Sit on it
You-
for 12 months.
You
or
can
whatever.
sit on it for as long as y'all decide you need to sit on it.
Ryan and Yvonne, when I looked at this, I was going through the resolution, the attachments, so I have the facility plan here, but attached to this, the resolution is also the license agreement with FEC.
Okay.
So is this resolution approving that?
What is that?
It was the permit, the Jack and Moore permit under the railroads.
Well, no, it's a facility encroachment agreement that we were working on with FEC is attached
With
to
the
this.
railroad?
That should, it was all came in at the exact same time, so Yvonne included that in the packet.
So that's being approved by this resolution?
No,
It's no.
Okay, so it's
We
not.
have to do that separately.
We have to do
Gotta
that
do it separately.
Okay.
no.
So this resolution is really just approving this?
It's accepting the.
Approving the
it's-
updated facility plan.
Right, it's all, yeah.
And I believe that was required to get the permit,
That's required.
and it was back and forth with the railroad many times to get that permit. So I believe you've already paid the fee and everything for the permit, so you may want to go ahead and get the permit.
Because this encroachment is not even on the agenda for tonight.
No, it was attached to this resolution. I just wanted to make it clear.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-02, the updated facility plan as presented by Brad Blaze of Meeting Hunt.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor by Councilmember, or Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland to adopt Resolution 2026-02 as presented by Brad Blaze of Meat Hunt. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. Is there anybody in the audience that has any comment they would like to make on this, or questions they'd like to ask before we call for a roll call vote on this? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Trish Smith. I'm with the school district. We just want to say that we're looking forward to being one of your first customers, and we do support the project.
Okay,
Good deal, thank you.
thank you. Any other public comment? Being no further comment, Yvonne, would you do a roll call vote on this, please?
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Brandy Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson?
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland?
Yes.
Mayor Gray Leonard?
Yes. All right.
Thank you, Brad.
Before you leave, Brad, we do have another question we'd like to ask you. Sure. Would it be okay if we go on to some other business briefly regarding this water plant?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I think we all had some questions last week about this new water plant. And we'd like to know when that product that we've paid for, that you guys have delivered to us, that's been unserviceable to this point, when is it going to begin to work and operate?
I was out there last week, and it was left in operation, and as far as I'm aware, it's still operating.
Is it online currently?
Yes, it is.
It's online.
It's online.
Okay.
And I was unaware that you all had had a lightning strike and it had taken out the computer on it. And that was the first I'd heard of that.
Okay.
And probably since we did the initial startup and substantial completion.
I did
a few
not
months
realize
ago.
it's online, and that's my downfall.
And,
But I just wanted to recognize the fact that it had been sitting there for a long, long time, and we'd not been able to get any benefit from it for a long time.
And when I did hear that there was a lightning strike and that there was a pressure transmitter and the PLC was out, we got in touch with
So
the
it's
folks
on
that did
time
it,
and
but-
working currently with the other wells.
It's working with the other wells right now.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad.
Brad, have a good evening. Be safe
as well.
going home. All right, I did not know that. Okay, moving on to item number 5B, Resolution 2026-01. It's the Employee Rules and Regulations Handbook, and I'm going to turn this over to Ryan.
Can you read the title?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution number 2026-01 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Pierson, Florida, approving and adopting the updated Town of Pierson Personnel Rules and Regulations Manual, superseding prior personnel rules and regulations, providing for implementation, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
All right, so we had our workshop back in January, I think, or February. We went over the employee handbook page by page. We struck a lot of antiquated language. We've added some sections in there, clarified how, like, things like vacation and sick time work. So I implemented all that, and I had planned to bring it back to you guys for a vote in, I think, February. And then we found out that our Code of Ordinances said it had to be passed by ordinance, which requires public hearing and 2 readings and advertising in the paper. So we said, what if we just change the Code of Ordinances to take that requirement out and let you pass it by resolution? So if you'll remember at your last meeting, we did our second read to strike that from the ordinances. So now that that's gone, you can pass this by simple resolution instead. So this is the original that we did January, February. And like I said, all your changes are in there, and I provided you guys a copy a couple weeks ago. If you don't see anything glaring, I mean, it should be, what we discussed. So.
Okay. Bearing that in mind, on Resolution 2026-01 on this new employee's handbook, I'd entertain a motion on this topic.
Move to approve resolution number 2026-01.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Lenny Richardson to approve Resolution 2026-01, which is the new employee rule and regulation handbook. Is there a second? Seconded by Brandy Peterson. Yvonne, would you give us a roll call vote on this item, please? Does anybody have any questions on this? I think we talked about it at the last meeting. We just updated our employee handbook and brought it up to speed with the current things, the way things are today. Nothing really changed. A few things were added, and a few things were modified. But being no public comment, Yvonne, would you give a roll call vote for this, please?
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Brandy Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson?
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland?
Yes.
Mayor Gray Leonard?
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Item number C, Planning and Zoning Commission applicants. And I think we have 2, and I'd like to turn this over to our clerk, Yvonne Bradley.
Okay, we discussed this at the last meeting, and Scott told us that we had to take applications. We posted it on our website. We posted it in the office. We've got 2 applicants, and I have the letter from Jonathan Vickers resigning from his position.
Yeah.
So now it's your decision on who you would like to appoint to planning and zoning.
Okay, we have 2 people that have applied, which is kind of unusual. A lot of times we have to hunt down just one person to even try to take it.
Yeah.
In fact, I've never seen a situation where we had 2. But bearing that in mind, if there's somebody on the council would like to nominate either one of these 2, that's up to the council's pleasure.
First of all, I'd like to thank both applicants. Either one of you, I'm sure would do a great job. With that said, I think I'm going to nominate Mary Kay Hanson.
Okay, there's a motion or a nomination on the floor by Robert F. Greenland to nominate Mary Hanson.
I too appreciate both of the applicants. However, one applicant has been extremely active I don't think she's missed very many meetings, and been an active volunteer for years. I'm gonna have to nominate Kelly.
Okay,
Both choices are great.
there's a
Absolutely, yeah.
there's a nomination, two nominations on the floor, one for Kelly Green, one for Mary Kay Hansen.
All right,
How do we do this?
so.
We draw straws now?
Well, that's one way you can do it is use the, I mean, y'all can obviously vote, but, see how the votes turn out. But the other thing you can do is we can do lots and have a piece of paper, and each of you write down who you select.
Can we do rock, paper,
Sign it.
scissors? Rock, paper, scissors?
Almost.
Rock, paper, scissors.
And you sign it, but the key thing is to comply with the sunshine law, you have to sign it, date it, it becomes a public record, and we'll have to read out what each person said. If you don't do that, then these private votes really aren't compliant with the sunshine law. But this is how cities do it. They write it down, they sign it, date it, give it to Yvonne. Yvonne can read the results, and then those documents become a public record, part of this meeting. And you publicly declare, and then whoever wins, then I would recommend you just make a motion and accept that person as the candidate. So that's one way to do it.
Do you want paper?
Yeah. We need 5 sheets.
This is new.
We have a question from the audience.
Fully 363 North Pine Street. I personally know both of your applicants, and they would both be great assets. Why can't you take both? Is there something limiting you to only taking one? Why can't you take them both?
Our ordinances say that it's a 5-person.
It's a 5-member committee.
Do we have alternates?
No, we don't, but I think that would be a great idea. I served for 12 years, and there were many, many times that we were short a person, and it would have been very nice to have a full board
Well,
if we have had an alternate.
one option would be whoever doesn't get at least 3 votes, designate that other person as an alternate,
Absolutely.
and then have staff bring back an ordinance creating the alternate position
I
for
think
the
that
board.
would
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yes.
And then so
Sure.
I mean, there were
everybody,
many times we had pretty major things before us, and it would have been nice to have had a full
How many alternates? Is it usually just 1 or 2?
one.
you can have 1 or 2, but I mean, at least one. And we have one now.
You date it.
Right,
Date it. Date it.
We have to put our name on it.
You
Yes.
sign it, date it, and write the person down who you would like to be nominated to fill the vacancy on the board. And by default, the person who doesn't get selected for the vacancy will become an alternate if they want to serve as an alternate.
So can we just do an ordinance to amend that part of the code to add language about an alternate in
Yeah.
there? Okay.
I mean, she's here, there's no reason to do this whole alternate thing again. She's here, but one of those individuals will be the alternate. We just need to create it in the code so we have an alternate. No, the name, you just do the name and the council member. Just, so it's just as if it was publicly voted.
I think that's an excellent idea you come up with one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Because both candidates are very loyal to this community.
Absolutely.
And whichever one gets it, we're going to be
I agree with
thankful for it.
100%.
And whoever.
Either or.
And whoever doesn't get it, I think we need to have the alternate
Most definitely.
ordinance brought into play, and they should get it.
Most
And
definitely.
would y'all want that ordinance to say that the alternate, if there's now another vacancy occurs in the future, that the alternate would automatically
Yeah.
takes that position?
I think so.
And then you fill the vacancy. in
We
the
fill the
position?
alternate
Correct.
position.
Y'all good with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll bring it back that way.
Yes.
You got that, Ryan?
Yep.
Okay.
Most definitely.
You ready for me to read them all?
You can.
Okay, first one is Mary Kay Hansen by Vice Mayor Robert Greenland. The second one is Kelly Green by Lenny Richardson. The third one is Kelly Green by Brandy Peterson. The fourth one is Mary Kay Hansen by Gray Leonard. And I guess our deciding vote would be Mary Kay Hansen by Jimmy Anderson.
Okay.
3-2.
So
Great.
I would suggest that we have a motion appointing Mary Hanson as the member to the board, planning and zoning board, and Kelly Green as the alternate to the position we're going to create. I would make that. I would recommend somebody make that motion.
I make a motion that we appoint Mary Kay Hanson to the Planning and Zoning Board Commission, and that we also appoint Kelly Green as an alternate to that commission, and if someone is to leave that commission, that you will fill the seat. Kelly Green will fill the seat.
There's a motion on the
We'll
floor.
put that in the ordinance.
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland to appoint Mary Kay Hansen as the Planning and Zoning Board member. Also to include that if a vacancy comes up, to have the alternate Kelly Green fill that position. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Lenny R. Richardson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried. Okay.
Next meeting, we'll hopefully bring back the first reading of the ordinance to create the alternate position.
Okay. Everybody understand that? Yes, Paul.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. Paul Martell, 506 North Pine Street. Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, Paul.
As being honored, being chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission, I want to say publicly, and also so that it's in minutes, that we give a great big thank you to Commissioner Jonathan Victors, who's turned in his resignation for personal reasons. He was a dedicated individual on the board. He took his time and he did the very best he could for the town of Pierson. And it was an honor to be associated with that gentleman. Very soon, and I'm asking the mayor, at least the mayor, and maybe another council person or two or three, at our next scheduled meeting, I would like to present a plaque to him. I will invite him, and I'll verify to Yvonne, so that if you can possibly do that, it would be, I think, a nice gesture.
I think we already have that plaque, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'd be happy to be there.
I just want to say, he did a hell of a good job, and
I
I'm
think he-
honored to be
I think
serving
you
with
did a
him.
great job, and I'll be there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Unless something comes up that I'm unaware of, but I'll plan on being there. Okay? And maybe somebody can join me. And did everybody get the copy of Jonathan's
Yes.
letter? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now, let me find my place here. All right, next thing on the agenda is the CTS meeting update, and I'm going to call on Lester Pulley. Thank you, Les.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
This is the highlights from the County Traffic Safety Team meeting from last Thursday, which was April 2nd. The Highway Patrol is doing an operation called Operation Safe Drive. They're targeting aggressive drivers on I-95. The Sheriff's Office is doing the same thing, also on I-95 and I-4. Our spring break and bike week are both over. I heard spring break was pretty rowdy, but I don't really have any details on that. There are no more school breaks until the summer break. That's it. There were 3 fatalities in Daytona Beach during the bike week. They're expecting a 4th, as one of the motorcycle drivers is in the hospital and not expected to recover. The college cheer championships are starting now. They're expecting a higher traffic volume for that. And then Jeep Beach is in a couple weeks. They're expecting more traffic for that. We've had 25 traffic fatalities so far this year. That's the same as last year at this point. We had 103 total last year. That's down. 2024 was 125, and 2021 was 147. So it's trending down despite more people moving here. They think that there's more people, so people can't drive as fast, which is what's keeping the fatalities down. FDOT looks at all the accidents, looks at the history of the area, and they try to engineer safety changes, and that includes local roads. So not only state roads, but local roads, if they can do that. I'm not aware of any problems here in Pierson, though. That's all I got.
All right.
I have a question.
Yep.
Maybe you can talk to them next time. This is kind of a unique one.
Okay.
In front of Pierson Elementary, on the west side of 17,
Hang on, west side, okay.
there's several streetlights. That
Okay.
whole row of streetlights has been out for over a month. So we had someone call and they asked us, could we report the streetlights out? We can't. We can't even on the Duke Energy website, we can't even see the lights to report them out. Like mostly in town, if it's a light that the town pays for, we have the ability to go in and request that it be fixed. So we asked that person to call the school board because we said it's only in front of the school. It's got to be a school thing. They called the school board and the school board facilities told them no, they didn't maintain those lights. So it's got to be DOT or it's got to be the school board.
Okay.
But they're still out, so that the person we talked to on the phone said they were going to try to chase that down. But I notice every morning when I drive through there, and they're only run from the length of the school property. So they start a little bit south of Palmetto, and they run all the way to the end of the school zone. I mean, there's a bunch of streetlights on the east side of the road, but on the west side, it's only in front of the school.
That's on the southbound lane?
Yes. And so there's maybe 10 of them, 10 or 12 of them, so they're obviously all connected because they're all out. And I don't know that it's really affecting anything, but it probably is nice when the kids are there early in the morning that it's just in front of the school.
In law enforcement, we call that a clue.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I would say that there's only two people that can be responsible for it. It needs to be the school board or
Well,
DOT.
so the thing about that is it is in DOT right of way. But I don't know if there's some kind of agreement between DOT and the school board for traffic, because we dealt with this before about who's in charge of the traffic light, the flashing lights. So maybe you can ask DOT if they
I'll bring
have
it up.
any insight.
Yeah, next meeting. Anything else?
That's all.
Anybody out in the audience have anything? No. Thank you, Lester. Moving on to item number 6, old business, approval of cafeteria repair quotes. That was tabled on 3/3/26. We've got some quotes here in front of us to do some drywall repair and such in the cafeteria. Got one from Bowen Services, Matt Ryan's Handyman Service. This is, he has two estimates here, am I right, Ryan? Matt's right. Yvonne?
It's the same estimate, he just typed it up because he had sent it to me as a screenshot, and then he typed it up. It's the same quote. He sent me a screenshot. Oh,
No, I'm talking about the one from Matt Ryan.
I only have one.
Yeah, there's two in here.
There's
I
two,
think
I've
he
got two.
separated out.
One of them is like 5152, and the other one is 7900.
He did the one for the steps separately, remember?
Yeah. Oh, we had him quote us for the steps in case we wanted to redo the rubber on the steps, but that was too expensive.
Okay, so the 7900 is to take care of the cafeteria
To
and,
take care of the paneling, the trim, and to paint.
and the 4860 would be for the steps.
To redo the steps, to take that blue rubber,
Yeah.
That's the
So we're
second
just
quote.
talking about doing the drywall, what we're talking about doing.
yes, so that's a front quote.
Okay.
7,900.
So we have two quotes here, right?
So that-
Well, I've got something here, but I don't see any numbers on
There's a
mine.
number on the very bottom, it's $12,000 something.
in the only.
Oh, okay, I see it. It's not itemized. I see it way down
The
here.
difference is, I don't think Bowen put painting on his.
But what?
The painting, I don't think because we talked a little bit about, after everything's done, obviously, painting the whole cafeteria. And he said he could do that. I'm assuming he would probably charge that at his hourly rate, which is $80 an hour, but he didn't actually itemize it on the quote. So that puts Matt Ryan's quote and his quote very close, I would think. There's only $500 difference between the two of them. Matt's mentions the painting, but Bowen Services doesn't.
Did not.
It took us a long time to get these three quotes.
So we don't know exactly how much Mr. Bowen would charge us for the painting.
I'm just assuming
$80 an hour.
probably $80 an hour for however many hours it would take to paint it.
Right.
So either way, both of them are probably going to be
They're going to be
very close.
Bless you.
Bless you.
And then like the land clearing quote, we had two that were very similar and one that was,
Has anyone had any personal experience or knowledge of Matt Ryan's handyman services? I mean,
I haven't. Has any of the other councilmen, women, men and women?
has anybody in the audience had any work done by Matt Ryan's handyman services?
Any of them?
Well, we have had work done by Bowen.
Bowen Services has worked here before. He's actually the one that painted the cafeteria the first time.
He did.
He's local as well.
Yes, he is.
Yes. I
And-
think we should do.
And I've seen some of his work,
He's
and
in
his work
Pierson,
has
right?
been,
Yeah.
they're both, he's in Pierson, yes.
He's in
Yes,
Pierson,
he's in
and so
Pierson.
is Matt.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some of Mr. Bowen's work. I don't know anything about him, but I've seen some of his work, and it's been good.
He's done, before you guys moved into this building, he did several things up here for you guys, so.
It's Kaylee's betrayal.
Yeah, I've saw him doing some work on this building in the past.
Well, I think we should use a local resident.
They're both local.
They're both
Yeah, that's right,
local.
Yeah.
And,
I was looking at the other one.
It depends on, the price is $500 difference, but his price doesn't include painting. So that needs to be taken into some consideration, and I don't know how long it's going to take him to paint the inside of that cafeteria.
His does not and Matt's does, correct?
Right.
Yeah, he's adding $1,200 in painting.
And again, remember the reason we brought these is because we've been asked to host the League of Cities dinner. So
Right.
if we don't
Yeah.
fix up the cafeteria, then we have to make the decision, do we have it somewhere else in
Yeah,
town?
no, we
You know.
need to, we're going to tend to this here real soon, shortly.
I think it would be wonderful if we could host it here, so we need to
Now,
have the
Matt
cafeteria
is
done.
he's furnishing the paint and stuff to do the drywall.
It looks to me like material paint
Material
include
paint
colored
included.
white.
Well, he put white because he didn't know what color you
I
wanted.
mean, I don't think
That's
that's going to change it. You want to put some tin in it, you know.
Yeah.
I would entertain a motion from anybody on whichever one you guys prefer.
I make a motion, we go with Matt Ryan's handyman service for a price of $7,900 for improvements to the cafeteria.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland to approve Matt Ryan's Handyman Services LLC in the amount of $7,900 to make the improvements in the cafeteria. Is there a second? Who seconded
That's
it?
what I, Randy.
Seconded by Councilwoman Randy Peterson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. So carried.
I was gonna say this. if the other estimate, if they were going to do it, that meant we're going to have to pay extra for the paints and the painting, so just well.
Give him a shot, see what happens.
Get him on it.
Okay, the next item is item number 7, other business updates. I'm going to pass right now. Vice Mayor Greenland, do you have anything you'd like to update us on?
I do.
Okay.
I do have something I'd like to report to the council.
Okay.
Our last meeting, we discussed some reflectors there on West Washington.
Yes.
I went and spoke with the owner of the property there, and she assured me that she does the maintenance on the whole length of her property. And I told her that if she would do the maintenance, the mowing, then I'm sure we could that we could come to an understanding with the reflectors that are there by the.
Leaving them in the same position they're in currently.
Yeah, leaving them there.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as she agreed to maintain that part of the right of way there, the length of her property.
I don't have a problem with that.
I didn't think anybody would.
Okay.
So, that's all I have.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that at all. If that's agreeable with everybody, then that, we'll give that a try and make sure if it works out, great.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Councilman Jimmy Anderson.
Only thing I got is, I went over and where Charles was working today, and he's got most all that stuff on the ground. He ain't got it cleaned up, but at least he's got it dug up.
That's good.
Other than that,
Okay.
I don't have nothing.
Making progress. Councilwoman Lenny Richards.
Yes, thank you. I guess this is kind of maybe something that Scott can answer. So, it's been my understanding that state law trumps local municipality law.
Sometimes.
Right?
It depends, but it can.
So, a bona fide agriculture company here in town had a meter put in a new barn, a new shed. So, all they needed was...
Water meter? A new water meter?
Power meter?
Oh, electric meter, okay.
All they needed was a new, what do they call it, a box for the meter to go in, they call it something.
Meter can.
Can, yes. We charged them $440 for that inspection of that meter. Statute number 604.50 plainly states any ag is exempt from Florida building code and any county or municipal fees for bona fide ag.
I think there's about 4 criteria it has to meet under that. I just recently read that statute because from something in Lake County. But there has to be, there's like 4, and I don't remember what they are, but in that statute, I think there's like 4 criteria that the structure has to meet to qualify as ag. But yes, you're correct. I know it's exempt from the Florida building code, and I know it's exempt from local regulations in Lake County. We were looking at whether or not our historic regulations would apply. And they could not, as long as the structure met those 4 criteria. I can't remember what those 4 criteria were. I don't remember the issue of the fee, but if you just read the statute, then...
Was this a brand-new service or replacement of an
Just a
existing meter
replacement.
can?
No, it's a new pole barn.
It's a pole barn?
Yeah.
So the inspection fee was for the whole
It was
electrical
for
wire?
nothing but a meter box. The
Our permit fee was $450 something.
our permit fee was $440.
Just for the meter can.
Yes. When state statute plainly states that
It's
ag
exempt, yeah.
is exempt. I just, how do we come up with how much we charge?
It's based on the size of the service and also the valuation of it. So, and then, of course, your inspections, if you have to have multiple inspections, they're $75 a piece. But the thing with power, regardless of whether it's ag or not, Duke Energy will not turn power on until they see a past permit inspection, because it's electrical. So we run into that a lot in town, where like, when we had that bad wind a few weeks ago, someone's weatherhead got blown down, and they just put it back up and called Duke Energy and said,
That was
hey,
for a resident, right?
yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Duke Energy will not come turn your power back on if your weatherhead gets blown over until you get a permit and have it inspected and have a clear inspection report. So then if the inspector comes out and finds a bunch of other inadequacies, you know, your panel box isn't labeled right or whatever, then you fail your inspection. So this guy had power, lost power. I said, no problem, we'll issue you like a dummy permit. The inspector can come look, you see you put your weatherhead back up, we'll get it turned back on. It turned into a 6-day fiasco because Duke Energy would not turn it back on without a past permit. So,
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at the list.
you know, I don't know if that falls on Duke Energy or,
But we just charge the customer back what we're charged by, I mean, because that's.
by Universal.
By Universal, yes.
So we're charging them what we're getting charged from
Yeah,
Universal.
Universal does the invoices.
Yeah, they do the
We
permit
just
fees.
provide
We
it to
don't-
the
Right.
customer.
Did you pull that statute, Scott?
I'm trying to turn my computer on. Like I said, I saw, within the last week or two, I've had to look at this issue, so I just remember there's like 4
For an
criteria.
ag issue?
Yeah, with the-
I think they're exempt from a permit fee for a permit cost, but if it's an electrical installation, I still think it has to be properly wired and pass the electric code, if I'm not mistaken.
My understanding is the pole bar is exempt, but the electrical isn't, but I don't know for sure.
I mean,
I just thought $440 for a meter can box inspection was a little much.
it sounds expensive to me.
I mean, did they have several inspections? I mean, that's what
No,
I'm asking.
What do they,
It's one
what
inspection.
does the company charge us for a normal building inspection?
It's a 7-page list of exhibits. I mean, it depends on all kinds of factors.
Yeah.
I can try to get you.
I mean, like a
permit fee.
first inspection.
I mean, Universal works for you guys. If you want to have them explain how they calculate the fee,
Yeah.
you can ask them that.
I guess my question was, we just take Universal's invoice and charge back the client, to the client.
Well, so part of the problem you had, if you remember from our budget meeting 2 years ago, is that we spent $30,000 in universal fees and we brought in $10,000 in permit fees.
Yes.
So they increased the permit fee, so we would at least break even.
100%.
Right, so that is a break-even number for
Right.
us. Let's see, because, you know, statutorily, you can't make money on permits anyway. If you do, it has to be spent on building-related stuff. Daytona just got in a bunch of trouble for that. So our thing was just to try to raise the permit fees to the point where we broke even but didn't lose money.
No, it does say what you're saying. I'm looking, the 4 criteria are: the structure is non-residential, there must be a bona fide agricultural purpose, the land isn't used for urban agricultural, and the regulation isn't a floodplain management regulation. Those are the 4 criteria.
Well, this particular issue meets all, I mean, should be 100% exempt.
And that exempts them of all the fees, or just,
It says any non-residential farm building,
okay, so,
farm fence, or farm sign that is located on lands used for bona fide agricultural purposes.
so the building official's going to say they weren't charged any fees for that structure.
right?
Not including, it says not including those lands used for urban agriculture is exempt from the Florida Building Code and any county or municipal code or fee, except for code provisions implementing local, state, and federal flood management regulations. And
What's that back up? What's that say, based on above C cannot?
So then my question is, how do you broach that subject with Duke Energy?
Duke Energy's going to require,
well, I mean, what you could, I mean, we could just say, if we're just doing a pass-through, what you're saying, well then, for agricultural, we'll just say, look, we're not going to perform an inspection, you got to go get your own inspection, and you got to get it permitted. We're staying out of it. You'll get your own inspection.
I don't think they have to have a permit to do it, but I think it has to be inspected so it meets code.
so are you guys going to pay for Universal out of your out-of-town fees?
No. No.
I think that's the point we're getting
Right,
at.
that's the
That's
point.
the point
So
we're
in other
getting
words,
at. If
Duke Energy
we
is
don't
going to
charge them,
require
then
an
we pay
inspection.
it.
So in other words, every bona fide ag thing, we would have to pay our inspector to go out there and inspect it. And
I
we would
can research this a little more to see if there's been any
Okay.
court case interpretations or anything
Yeah.
about this.
Well, like I said, I think what you're going to find is that most places distinguish between we don't inspect and we don't charge permits for the building, right? We're going to charge for plumbing and we're going to charge for electrical.
Electrical, probably so.
Because they have to meet code regardless of what kind of
Right.
building they're in.
Because not all pole barns have electrical or plumbing. You can.
Right.
No, they don't.
They don't. So, you know, you can put up a, you can put up a barn without,
Any non-residential farm.
without any inspection.
But regardless of what kind of building it is, if you put electricity in it, it has to meet Florida electric code.
Duke Energy's not gonna turn it on or put power there until it does.
That's exactly
And
correct.
I think it's a liability for
And the
Duke
only
Energy
way,
because
they're going to turn it on is if it has been inspected.
Because if Duke Energy turned power on and it wasn't wired right and the building burned down, you know, Duke Energy's not going to want that, so.
So they don't have to have a permit to put it in, but they got to have it inspected before it can be turned on.
Mike will be
to
here
make sure it's
tomorrow
code.
from Universal, so we can always have that conversation with Mike because he's done this for 20-something years, if anyone knows.
I'll look to see if there's any clarifications, and there's lots of, the statute refers to a lot of different statutes for definitions, and so I'll go through those and see, but I understand what Mark's saying, because they're saying that the farm building, the farm fence, and the farm sign is exempt from the Florida Building Code. But maybe we're talking about the Florida Electrical Code. I don't know if that's a separate code or not.
Paul?
Yeah, I put up an ag building a few years ago.
Mhm.
The building I did not have to get a permit for, but I was told if I hook up to electric in it, that Duke requires a permit for that, so I had to buy a permit to hook up the electric. And if I had to put plumbing in it, I would have to buy a permit
Exactly.
for that. So the building, there's no permit.
Exactly.
But it's the electric.
Yeah. And the electric and the plumbing both have to be
They charge
inspected.
by the size of the service you put in.
Exactly.
So there is the 400 and change. or
What do they
Yeah,
put?
there's
They put
a
100
base
amp
price.
service versus a 250 or whatever.
And
There's going to be a
they
difference.
charge you for the permit from the building. It's the electric.
There's a base price of like $68.11, but then it's so much per amperage and it's so much per like breaker that you install. I mean, it's a whole long breakdown that they give you. But and that's what we advise people. I mean, they call all the time and say, "Can I put up a pole barn?" Yes, put up a pole barn all day long if you're using it for ag. If your animals are under it or a tractor's parked under it. If you want power, it's out of my hands because Duke Energy is requiring that, not me. And the way that it works, because if they're in our municipality, Duke Energy will not accept that from anybody but us. They want something from the town of Pierson stating that that permit has passed and been inspected. So, like, people call all the time for their new house or whatever and try to get their power turned on. They will not do it until they get approval from the town. So, but I would be curious to hear what Mike says about that. this issue came up a couple of years ago, and
Councilmember Brandy Peterson, you have nothing? Anybody in the audience have anything before we close? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Melissa Borghorst, 2001 Orange Hammock Road, DeLeon Springs. I'm a member of the Northwest Volusia Democratic Club, and we would like to have a meeting up here in Northwest Volusia. And so when I called the clerk, and I suggested this building, and then she suggested that there's a community center. But we would have our meeting on a Thursday night, and she didn't know how much it would be charged. She said to bring it before the council.
Well, I think the community center would probably be the best spot to have it.
Yes, I think so too.
And the charge?
What do you think about a charge on that for the Democratic Club?
I think as long as it's not being used.
It's not used on a Thursday. We don't run it on a Thursday.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, normally on a situation like that, we've allowed candidates to have meetings there and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
usually if it's a public meeting.
It's a
It would be a public meeting.
And I think that you would just have to get with our clerk and find out what Thursday night you want to do it, and make sure it's vacant.
Yes.
And then, pick up the key and then bring the key back and just leave it clean like you found it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Look forward to you having your meeting there. Anybody else? Mr. Pulley?
Lester Pulley, 363 North Pine Street. Pastor Rico from the Methodist Church said he was going to try and make it up here tonight, but I don't see him. He said if he didn't make it, he wanted me to put out that there are 5 local churches that are now jointly doing services and events and stuff, and that he would like to see more participation from the town.
There was a good participation at the Easter sunrise service.
I didn't make it. I was drinking coffee.
I heard him say there was over 100.
That's what I heard. There was over 100 people at the sunrise
What type
service.
of participation from the town is he?
You're going to have to take it up with the pastor.
I mean, it's kind of like I promoted and we allowed the use of the facility over there for the Easter Festival, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
I think it was a heck of a crowd there. I was down in the back, couldn't make it that morning. But otherwise, I would have been there, and I heard it went very well. I saw a bunch of pictures on Facebook and posts, and it looked like it was wonderful.
I think all the events went really well this past week.
I don't think we'd have a problem with that as long as there wasn't some conflict of some kind that we've already committed to. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but how do you guys feel?
No, same as you.
Okay. There you are. I do have one thing I want to go over I forgot, and that's about the North Road Park, and I want to thank Jimmy Anderson and our Public Works guys for getting that. Hopefully we eliminated that water system there by the bathroom door.
See.
Did a lot of work anyhow, and we'll find out if it's going to work, but it looks like it will.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, Louis and Chris and Dustin, they got over there and done what they needed to do.
Yes, they did. All right. Anybody else? No further business? I thought you...
Go ahead and hit the hammer for a minute.
Mark, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting down to the end. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, actually, I do have something I want to at least call to your attention. I understand that you guys did approve the lease for the airport, and so they have reached out to me through a architectural firm in, I think it's St. Louis, Missouri, to find out what they need to do in order to, put their improvements on the property. And what I'm going, first of all, so they're going to add, the helipad, there'll be some impervious surface. They're going to have structures out there. I'm going to tell them I'm going to need to see that on a site plan. I know their reaction is going to be, well, we thought we'd be in operation here by June because they got to get out of some other place. So I just want to make sure there's going to be issues of the impervious surface, how it's graded, where does that flow towards the runway? Does it flow away from the runway? How much is it? Because there's, St. John's is going to want to see stormwater treatment for any impervious surface greater than 4,000 square feet. I don't know what the proposed size of the helipad is. I know the fire department is going to want to see some way to fight a fire out there. First of all, any structure fires, they're going to want to see a hydrant within 500 feet. And I'm sure they're going to want to be able to fight a fire if a helicopter crashes on that pad. So I'm going to explain all these things to this architect in St. Louis, Missouri. I think your tenant might be a tad bit upset. I'm just letting you all know. So, yeah.
So does they need to find a local?
They definitely should hire. First of all, they should not be. In my opinion, they've hired a large architectural. Global Medical Response is a large company that is all over the country. They've hired a large architectural firm that works all over the country. They're going to be expensive for them to do this, and they'll have to probably work.
Well, they should know this then.
Yeah.
They need to be looking at somebody more local.
Yeah, they do, and I will advise them of that. I just,
Right.
Those are things there that we don't have any control over as far as.
I just think that they want to be out wherever they are by June, right?
Well, they really wanted to be up and running originally by April, but that was UF. That wasn't so much Global Medical. But Global Medical told me he would like to be here by June.
They're well aware that there's criteria they're going to have to
I will do everything that I can to, make it as expeditious as possible.
You don't know what size a helipad needs to be.
I don't know what size that pad is. They gave us a lease area. They gave us a concept.
We saw a sketch of it, but I don't know if it was to scale.
Did it have the scale on it? I can't remember.
I don't know when we add up everything, the pads, the roofs, what their impervious surface is going to be.
But do your very best to keep them here and have them live
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Well, even with those things there, I think it's going to be easier for them to get here than it would be some other.
Understood. I just wanted you to know that I was
done this in other. They have a facility in St. John's. I don't know if that's the one they're leaving or not. But I'm sure they've had to do this in other cities, and I'm sure they've worked with this architectural firm before. They probably had a previous relationship, which is why they went to them.
Yeah.
In other news, I'll be here April 16th to meet with people who want to talk about their land use and zoning issues.
April 16th.
Maybe their living quarters is going to have to be pervious. You think you could make that helipad impervious? So impervious, maybe?
I would think so.
Gray, I have one other thing.
Yes, sir.
That whatever it was going to be built out there close to me, church or on the center or
on
whatever,
Harper Road.
Has anybody heard any more about that?
They do keep updating that page, but I can't tell you what it says, what the last update was. They
I
have
haven't.
been updating it on what's happening in Pierson or Pierson community page.
That's the only place I would know to look right now. I don't know anything that's going on.
I know my neighbor, he was come over and talked to me yesterday or day before, and he was asking me about it.
Mike?
No.
Gentleman here.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Anyway.
How are you?
Anyway, like he said, if they build that there, his property, he'll lose over $200,000 in equity in his place because of what they gonna build there.
From what the county lady said, that this is the very, very, very beginning stage process of this whole entire process, and that this community jumped on it when we needed to, and they have lots and lots of hoops to jump through to get where they're trying to get.
They haven't even issued any permits or anything on that.
They canceled the permit. They actually applied for, they canceled that permit application. Right? It requires a rezoning. So there'll be notice to the neighbors and plenty of opportunity to organize. You know, it has to go through, you know, comp plan amendment, rezoning.
I mean, and she even said that probably that would be the first of very many meetings of the community if you're going to stop this, is kind of what I understood from her when she said that.
Well, I was just-
We'll have a number if anybody wants it.
I was just curious.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Jacqueline Carell, Bridgewater Neighbors, Branch Trail Plan. I was told off record by someone high up in the county that, like you said, their previous applications and things that they had put in, that they essentially publicly on record voided what they had applied for because they admitted to it being 80 beds, and they'd only been approved at the time for 15. So in that regard, it had already, what they had, were initially planning could not go forward.
Anybody have anything further? Going once, going twice. Yes.
Monahan, 411 Harvard Road. What are my options? I mean, according to Jimmy, he's saying that you, Scott, basically said that if a permit does fall in place, at that point, our options are limited to none. I find that.
I don't remember talking about it.
For me to lose almost $200,000 of my home equity.
So this is an issue in the county?
Yes.
Yeah, I told him that there wasn't nothing that we could say about it.
Yeah, I mean,
If the county decides, then there's nothing we can do.
He's going to be affected by this so-said property. I look at my house as my retirement account. When it's time for me to retire, I want to sell that damn thing, and I want to just live my best life.
So Scott, so
Come in here, I'm going to lose over $200,000, and that's not just throwing a number out there. That's from a freaking licensed appraiser.
right, you need to present that to the county.
yeah, this parcel though, just so you understand, it is the next, it is contiguous to the city. So that's, so there are people affected inside the city and outside the city.
It's contiguous.
But there's no current, the last proposal, there's actually no proposal in the county right now. Those people have been told if they want to pursue this, they have to go back to the drawing board. You know,
You just need to, you'll get notices of everything, and you need to go to all the county meetings on it. And they're the ones that control, it will take a comp plan amendment?
my understanding is that a comp plan and a planned development agreement. So,
Well, the good thing, if it requires a comp plan amendment,
well, that is a reason.
it's much easier for the county to say no. That's a policy decision, so they can say no and not really have a good reason. Whereas if it's just zoning, which is what's called quasi-judicial, then they have to have substantial competent evidence to say no. But if they just have, if it's a comp plan, and I would meet with each county council member.
Don Dempsey was there that night. Did you come to the meeting at the community center?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the Carolyn McFarland lady.
I don't trust her.
She's pretty well open and honest about, I mean, I don't know really where she went wrong.
Something about her just, I don't trust her.
Well,
The only thing I saw in her eyes is dollar signs.
Well, I would, well, what is this supposed to be?
It's supposed to be a church retirement.
No, it's a subsidy. No, it's a subsidy of the Catholic Church. It's basically a residential treatment center. They're zoned agriculture. It's not allowed use in ag. So they're, a much smaller unit, a much smaller use would be allowed, but that's not what they're planning on doing. And so that initial application just got canceled. And so they're basically back at square one.
Initially, they wanted 11,000 square foot building built.
Correct, that was the original plan, was the shed, an 11,000 square foot shed.
Yeah.
And then it was gonna be a church, and then so forth and so forth and so forth.
See, as of now, my property butts up next to 5 acres which somebody purchased to build. The people that bought that land next to me clearly said that if that permit gets reissued, they're gonna sell. So if that happens, that is gonna be butted up right next to my property. So that's gonna drive my value down even further.
We understand.
Yeah, we know where you're coming from.
At the same time, our hands, we're supporting you in our community, but our hands are tied. I mean, the county isn't gonna do it because we said so.
I think everybody on my road to get with me will hire an attorney and sue the damn county.
You should get with Carol Hunter and a few of them that are doing that already, and,
Yeah, you need to stay
You have
actively
our support.
involved, so, in the all the meetings, I mean, and get over your untrust of whoever that person is.
Yeah.
You just gotta get over that, because that's the person you're going to have to work with. And just go to the meetings and present as much evidence as you have.
Right.
And if, the council authorizes it, Mark and I and staff can help give you arguments to make. We can look at the applications and say, hey, these are the arguments that you can make up there.
She's the land development division head.
Yeah, I would not say those words again. So, yeah, I would work with her. So, but, I mean, it sounds like it's good because they're not proceeding, and they withdrew their application, so that's good. That's the most you could ask for. And, if someone else buys the property, you need to ask them in the neighborhood, annex into the city of Pierson, then we have control over it.
What, the 20 acres, or they buy?
Whatever they buy and want to annex in, it's contiguous.
Okay.
I don't think this council's going to say no.
So this goes back to the conversation that we've had repeatedly about it would be mutually beneficial to residents to annex into the town, because I understand your taxes are going to be a little bit higher, but that helps the town out, and it also allows for you to fall under our land development regulations versus the counties. And as the county continues to grow, it's going to move this way, and there's nothing we can do about it unless your property is in
the town of Pierson. Yeah.
And we do have a lot of areas, unfortunately, like that one, where one lot is county, one lot is city. Like you said, we can advocate, we can be supportive, but ultimately it is not our decision. So I did speak to somebody on Harper Road who's unincorporated, and when they asked what the process would be to annex in, they said, we don't want to do all that. Okay, well, that's my only suggestion,
If it's annexed into the city, we have quite a bit of control over what happens. If it's in the county, then we really can voice an opinion, but we don't have any control over what happens. So, I mean, that's about simple as it is.
But that's a situation where residents will have to go and make themselves
The difference
very
is you
well
have 5
heard.
people deciding how the growth occurred on that property that live here.
Right.
Or you have 7 people deciding how that growth will occur, none of whom.
None of them do live here.
None of them live here.
So,
There you go.
That's the difference.
But the Catholic bunch that own the property just past the Catholic church, they own about, I'd say, probably 40 acres right there that they could build that same thing if they needed to, really. But they want to build over there where some guy's supposed to be letting them have the property.
There, just so you know what's coming, I sent it to Mark to look at stuff, but there is a change in the law that's, you may be talking about something that's called these recovery homes. And there was a change in the law that we're going to have to incorporate that, do an ordinance, that we have to create a mechanism for them to make what's called a reasonable accommodation request. Because people who are addicts technically have a disability under the law. And because they have a disability, they fall under the ADA. When they fall under the ADA, you got the Fair Housing Act, which means we now have to reasonably accommodate our regulations to allow disabled people to live in houses. The big issue that comes up is with these, there's a lot of litigation on it with these recovery homes. You have a definition of family, like no more than some certain number of people, unrelated people can live together and still be considered single family. If you go above that, it's multifamily and you can't be in single family zoning. So, and that's one of the big issues that comes up with the litigation is one of these recovery homes, and what their evidence is that the treatment and recovery process needs to be in a single-family environment, not in a multifamily environment, and that the group setting helps them with the recovery. So they will buy the big house, go into a single-family area, and then the cities try to stop them because, hey, you got 8 or 10 unrelated people living here, and then they sue saying you got to reasonably accommodate us. And there's a state law recently passed that now requires, it used to not require that we have a review process for these type homes, but that it requires that there be a review process and that decision be made administratively, not here. You can't bring it to the governing body to make a decision. So Holly Hill's in the process of adopting that regulation, and I modified it to fit for Pierson, and I sent it to Mark and staff to start reviewing, just to look at. But that's going to have to come before us. It's a statutory mandate. It's not something we have a choice to do.
And there already is, there's one very close to here, so. One run by Will Biddle.
Yeah. So I guess my point in telling you all this is the way the law is going, it's harder to regulate people. It's already been hard because of case law, federal law. Now you've got state adopting the law saying, well, you can't even make the decision on reasonable accommodation here in a public hearing. It's got to be done administratively. So.
Okay. Anything further? Being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
All right. We all have a good night.
Okay, Scott. Drive careful going home.
I'll try. Tell everybody else.
You want to look at that? You want to look at that and then give it back to Yvonne? Glance at that?
Oh, I got a copy of it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I think we all got a copy.
Okay, good enough. I just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to look at it.
I think we all